afternoon, Niner fans. Happy Monday. It's the off season. There's not much to talk about, but when all else fails, I still got to come live with my main man, Ted. How are we doing, Ted? How are we feeling on this Monday afternoon?
Feeling glad to be alive. Wish there was more stuff happening, but always good to see you, Raj.
Yeah,
thanks
definitely.
for having me.
Always a pleasure. Definitely always good to see you. I wish there was more happening, but it's the dead lull of the off season. And but the good news is minicamp for the rookies is around the corner. OTAs is around the corner. It's starting to get closer to that time. The schedule is supposed to be coming out soon, so it is nice. There's some things that are about to be picking up. Business is about to be picking up. The players are working out like crazy. They're all getting ready for the new season. So that's exciting. But yeah, definitely not a lot of news. The draft has come and went. The free agency frenzy's come and went. So all like the meat and potatoes of the offseason's gone. But the good news is, training camp and everything's just around the corner. This week, starting Thursday, rookie mini camp starts. What are your thoughts on that? Rookie mini camp. I've seen a lot of players posting videos on their social media, like Tariq Owens been working out. Cody Schrader's been working. All these guys, all the rookies are getting hyped up. What do you think, man? Rookie minicamp, you excited?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially like you mentioned, Tariq Owens. And I would just say for all the undrafted players, it's a big time for them to sort of start differentiating themselves, give themselves the best chance possible of making a squad, which is not easy for drafted players. So it's even less easy for undrafted players, obviously.
Yeah, the undrafted players, they got a good lot of players, but you're right. It's going to be hard to crack this roster. But there were some people that stood out to me. I know we talked about a little bit on draft, like post-draft stream last week. There was a lot of rookies we talked about. I think we pretty much broke it down. But undrafted, we didn't talk about it too much. Were there any like undrafted players now that it's been pretty much 2 weeks out that you're like, holy smokes, I think they can make this roster? Is anybody that's kind of like, I mean, obviously it's hard to tell because we haven't seen him in training camp, but or mini camp or anything like that. But there's somebody out there that is just we can't let him go.
Well, after the draft, we obviously talked about the undrafted free agent out of Furman, the tight end. He's like 6'6" and 250-ish. I think he has a pretty good shot. But then didn't we also sign an undrafted tight end out of like USFL or XFL? Or
I think they gave him a workout. There was like a workout for another tight end. He's going to be invited to the minicamp. So like a lot of the people that are going to be at the rookie minicamp, it's obviously the rookies. You got P-Line, the guy you're mentioning, and then all the undrafted guys. But they also sometimes they'll reach out to people for like a workout or a tryout during that because they're going to be there. So they just end up throwing the tryout guys there. There was a tight end that they're supposedly working out that week. Can't remember the name off the top of my head. I know I saw it tweeted out a couple of days ago. But yeah, they're going to have something like that. There's going to probably be a lot of people that we haven't heard of yet that are going to be there. I'm a little interested in Cody Schrader, the running back from Missouri. Like, to me, that's a sleeper pickup. I think he's going to crack the roster somehow, some way. I think his first season he'll be there as like a practice squad guy, but I got a good feeling about this Schrader kid. He's been posting a lot on his social media of him, working out and pushing himself, and he looks like he's that guy that's going to work himself onto this team somehow in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all he did was lead the SEC in rushing yards, so I mean, yeah, just that.
That's not no biggie. That's pretty damn good. This is a good question from James. So speaking of running backs and Cody Schrader, do you think Elijah Mitchell stays? Right?
No.
You think he's going to be cut this offseason?
Or traded if we get like a 6th or 7th for him, just something. Because we only spent a 6th on him. So if we spent a 6th and get a 6th, I think that would be a win, given his injury history. He's obviously a great, he's a very dynamic back runner. I think there might be some issues with pass catching and pass blocking, but and he never fumbles. The guy just literally never fumbles. But the injuries, I think, are too much. I just don't think we can waste a roster spot on him again.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that sense because definitely good, in terms of ball security. And I think that's why Kyle likes him because he is, really stable with the ball in his hands, paws. And, he does the things that Kyle wants him to do. But the problem is he can't stay healthy, and I feel like it is a liability. They got a lot of talent in the running back department now. Their backfield is really good. They drafted some guys, Isaac Orendo. Excited to see him, and Cody, like I said, and they even got the guy they got in the off season during free agency, the guy from the Packers, Taylor. So they got a lot of depth. They also have not Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason. So I feel like he's expendable. If they can get a sixth or a seventh, that's dub, because this is a guy that you got for a sixth. So you at least get your same value back. I think they might cut him, but if they can get something for him, definitely be great. He doesn't have high value. I know Kyle loves the guy. I do really like Mitchell, but the problem is just can't stay healthy. So I don't envision him being on this team in 2024. But again, really good player if you can stay healthy, but it's the big if. And again, they drafted a running back in the 4th that they traded up both of their 5th-round picks to get.
Moved up.
Yeah, that's telling.
Tells you everything you need to know. Yeah,
I agree. Speaking of 49ers and training camp and rookies and everything, so I'm sure you saw this trending today. Again, not a lot of news. Like I said, a lot of players are training. They're getting ready for the offseason. Ricky Pearsall, 49ers rookie this year, first pick of their draft class, first-round pick, their first-round pick in 3 years. He is training with Deebo Samuel. And there was a lot of rumors over the offseason of Deebo getting traded. Oh my God, they're going to get rid of Deebo. And Brandon, just a lot of rumors. We all know. But today, the picture surfaced that the two of them are training together. I think that's fantastic. I think it's phenomenal. But he's that veteran. He's the mentor. He's that captain of the team. He was a captain. He's also one of those guys that leads by example. And now he's got Ricky Pearsall under his wing, taking him under his wing and training with him. I thought that was one of the coolest things I've seen. Love to see it. It's Deebo already reaching out to the youngster and say, hey, man, let's get to work. Let's go to town. Let me show you the Niner way. And again, rookie minicamp is just around the corner. And now you got Ricky Pearsall training with Deebo. And a lot of people say, Ricky Pearsall is that versatile receiver. He can do a lot of stuff like Deebo. So to me, seeing this is like, oh, wow. I thought it was the coolest thing. What do you think of Ricky Pearsall and Deebo training together?
I love it. Just all we need is for Deebo to teach Ricky how to do the yak, and Ricky to teach Deebo how to catch the rock.
There you go. They can help
and run routes. So I think if they can rub off a little and cross-pollinate a little with each other, perfect. Love it. And good for Deebo, because let's face it, there's still a chance that Deebo does get traded post June 1st when his dead cap number drops quite a bit.
Maybe next year. I think Deebo's sticking on the roster, and this is a great example of why Kyle loves Deebo. He's sitting back. He could be bitter. He could be mad. He could be pissed off that they drafted Ricky Pearsall, the guy that could replace him down the line. So I was watching 957 a game this morning on there was a interview with Terrell Owens, and he says, I'd be pissed off. I'd be pissed, I'd be upset. I'd feel a certain type of way, because he felt like the 49ers organization did this to him when he was a player after, 8 years. In 2003, they traded him and this and that. It's a business. So he felt like jaded. Deebo Samuel has every right to feel like shit, but he's taking this youngster under his wing. They're in Arizona. That's where Deebo trains, at Exo Sports Center, and they're doing the damn thing. I thought it was cool. And again, this just shows you that Deebo's like, you know what, man? I'm above all that. It's business. Let me get my boy and let me get him right. He had it. I think Isaiah Simmons he had, there was a group of players, but this is the picture. Deebo, Ricky Pearsall in the background, training together. You can't beat that, man. That's a great veteran. And I think Deebo Samuel, you got to really commend him for that, because people have been trashing him, man. Trashing him. So.
Okay, Raj, I got the message. I just liked your post. I'm sorry. I was so late.
There you go. Yeah, like the post. Like the post. But anyways,
Repost.
It's not about that. The point is, Deebo Samuel, he's sticking around for a while. I know people want to trade him. I know people don't like him.
I've been saying June 2025, but there is still a slight chance of June 2024.
No, you never know.
Because they always say the right things, but they're still taking calls on anyone who's calling for anyone. Yeah. Everybody has their price.
That's true.
Trump Williams and maybe Brock Purdy, but
that's true. I just love it for Ricky. again, I just love it for Ricky training with Deebo, the
Yeah,
mentor.
huge move.
Before, there was a video last week that surfaced. Before the draft, Ricky Pearsall was training with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So at the end of the day, Ricky Pearsall is associating himself with some of the best players in the league. So he wants it. This guy's hungry. I think that is one of the coolest things of this guy. Like, a lot of people have kind of been mixed on Pearsall, but to me, I love the guy already because he's out there doing the work with great receivers. He's trying to associate himself with really good players. So I like the guy.
What'd you think? What'd you think of the sour grapes from Ray McLeod and Willie Snead? I want your opinion on that, Raj.
Yeah, so I was getting there since we're talking about wide receivers. So Willie Snead to me was the crazy one. To me, I don't know how big of a shot Ray threw. I really wasn't as, when I saw his subtweet, I was like, okay, I get it. Ray McLeod, he was brought in to be a big part, and they kind of used him more as a return man. And yeah, maybe he did get a little snaked in his opportunities. So for Ray, I was like, okay, I get it. I understand. He wants a bigger role. The Niners didn't really carve that out for him, and he's going to Atlanta. Maybe that's a good role for him, and maybe he'll get more opportunities. But Ray, I didn't really feel snaked on. But to me, Willie Snead, that one was crazy. That, to me, I was like, okay, this guy just felt entitled. I want to read you his tweet. He says, all I want to do is go back to a team that isn't afraid to let guys compete for a roster spot. These last 3 years, been nothing short of entitlement. Competition breeds champions. Somebody said, you think you're going to get signed going on a Twitter rant? And he goes, hopefully not off the rant, but because I'm productive, a vet, and the certified dog. Listen. And then he went on and said all this stuff. Like, I got great tape. They've been sleeping on me. He says, and then he said, in the words of my great friend Kittle, I'm going to keep playing until they kick me out of the league. I love what I do. Like, to me, Willie Snead is talking a lot for someone that hasn't done anything. And the 49ers are a team that do give opportunities. Look at the players they've built. Look at the undrafted players. We sat there and talked about this before. All the undrafted players they've developed. Late round pick. George Kittle's a 5th round pick, for God's sake. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft. We didn't know if he's going to make the fucking roster. He's 3rd string quarterback, and now he's your franchise quarterback. So for Willie Snead to say that you're not giving any opportunities, I thought that was a shitty tweet. I was like, okay, this guy's just mad because he's not reaching the potential he thinks he may have. But I got no hate on Willie Snead. Good guy. They called him up. He was on the practice squad. Sometimes he was able to get in. But here's the thing. You're not beating out Deebo. You're not beating out Brandon Aiyuk. You're not beating out Jawan Jennings. You're not beating out these guys. So, yeah, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities.
Even Ray was way ahead of him on the depth chart. So
you're not going to get opportunities if you're not better than the guys ahead of you. So I thought it was just him crying, and I didn't feel bad for him.
No, I don't feel bad for him. I would feel a little bad for Ray, but that whole Super Bowl muff punt, I'm a playmaker trying to make a play. It's like, no, you made a play for the other team, man. So I'm a little unhappy with Ray. If someone's like, oh, where'd he go? I'm like, I don't care, away. But you mentioned Falcons, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense because didn't they lose Cordero Patterson as sort of that, kind of returner, wide receiver? Well, he's more running back, but whatever. A versatile running back who can play some wide receiver. So that kind of makes sense to me. Yeah. What about Raj? Did you see that Colin Cowherd picked the Rams to win the NFC West?
I didn't. I was a little busy this morning, but I know you told me.
Oh no, it's from the 4th, so it's from Saturday. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of off the grid a little bit these last.
Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Tell me on May the 4th. So what did he say? What happened?
He. I mean, I didn't really watch the clip. I just saw that he picked the Rams first, the Niners second, the Cards third, and the Seahawks fourth.
Okay.
But I was just thinking when I saw it, Raj, I'm just like, maybe somebody forgot to tell Colin that Aaron Donald retired. Because, I mean, I get that the Rams had a good draft. I get that their offensive line is probably better than ours. I mean, I get when people say Stafford's better than Purdy. I can see why they might say that. Definitely Puka and God, I'm blanking on their main guy.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp are great receivers. They already had Kyron Williams, and then they added Blake Corum, who I think very highly of out of Michigan. Yeah. I think their offense looks really good, and they made some good-looking draft picks. But who made some really good looking draft picks last year? The Eagles. How'd that go?
Yeah.
Their defense fell apart. So, good draft picks blow it 50% of the time. If you're a good GM, you miss on half. So,
yeah,
I'm not ready to start crowning the Rams. I'm certainly not first place. I mean, maybe not even second. I think there will be. I think it'll be us, Rams, Seahawks, and I think Cards will still be fourth. I think they made some good picks because they had so many. I mean, they just, it was just like so many darts they had to throw.
yeah.
But to put the Rams ahead of us, I just thought that was. But if Aaron Donald was there, maybe.
I mean, the Rams did have a good draft. I'm not going to sit here and say they did. I'm not going to be a hater. They had a good draft. It's the first time they've had a first round pick for many years. Also, I think 2016, 17. They haven't had a first round pick in a long time. So they nailed it. They got some really good defensive linemen, which they needed to since they don't have Aaron Donald. And I get it. Colin Kaepernick's really critical against the 49ers. I feel like he has a little bias towards them. He's always picking against them lately. He doesn't like Brock Purdy because of the backwards hat. I get it. Matt Stafford is very liked around the league. He's a veteran. He's done it before with McVay. But Stafford is getting a little older. He was banged up last year. If Stafford is hurt this year and they have to use Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't like their chances of taking the NFC West. Like, I get it. They got some really cool weapons. Puka and Cooper. It's a vibe of a duo. But the 49ers have Deebo and Brandon Aiyuk, Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, CMC, George Kittle. People forget how good the 49ers really are.
I still like Chris Conley, too. Like Chris Conley. Ever since camp last year, he really impressed me. And he did so again in the playoffs.
They got solid players top to bottom. Jawan Jennings. The defense is still the defense. They added a few people here. The last time I checked, the Niners have owned the Rams in the regular season. I know they beat us a couple years back in the NFC Championship, but
unless you count the game that didn't count for us, week 18, that's garbage. Hey, you mentioned Jimmy G. That's kind of a perfect segue. Did you see what Robert Kraft said to Tom Brady during the roast last night?
Yeah, the roast.
He said, "Good luck signing good luck buying the Raiders." Yeah. Because they've already done something that you really like to do, which is get rid of Jimmy G. I thought that was
good. Yeah, the roast was classic. And then Kevin Hart came out and said, "Oh, we're here at the roast of the greatest quarterback of all time. Joe Montana's here." He's like, "Joe Montana."
Yeah, I love you even more, Kevin. I love you even more.
The roast was diabolical.
I'll die on that hill. I do it all the time. So
it was a good roast. But I want to get back to the Rams. So I think Kyron was, Williams and Corum. I think the Rams really upgraded, but I just don't think McVay has what it takes to take out Kyle. Kyle literally owns the man. So it is going to be a battle. I think the NFC West is really be battle tested this year. I feel like the Cardinals definitely improved this year. I think the Seahawks improved. They had a good draft, but they still got Geno Smith. So I'm not going to sit there and worry about them too much. I think the NFC West in general had a fantastic draft class. I think everybody in that NFC West really, really did something good in this offseason, whether it was free agents, whether it was the draft. I think all of them improved. I think the Niners are still the team to beat until you can take them down. It's just lip service until some team comes out and can beat the 49ers, in that division. Niners still run that division. I get it. The Rams, there's a lot of hype around them because they did have a good offseason, but that's all it is right now is hype. They're a Matt Stafford injury away from being a very, middle of the road team because Jimmy Garoppolo would be your quarterback. So not too worried. But again, I think they will be a tough opponent. It is always a battle in the NFC West. But yeah, Colin Cowherd, I just think he's a hater and he doesn't like the 49ers. So
yeah, the only thing I would say, to the Rams' benefit is, obviously, they nailed the Puka Nacua pick last year. And I just wish Kyle would prioritize O-line the way that McVay and Les Snead do.
I think that's everybody's criticism of the 49ers is we all want them to, upgrade the offensive line a little bit more. I feel like some teams just don't value it as others. And the 49ers are one of those teams that they just don't value it as much as I feel like the fans do. Like Niner fans will tell you they need to improve. They've been saying it for a while. But before it was O-line, it was defensive backs. It was cornerback. Like the 49ers, they go through these like phases. Because I'll tell you what, man, for a long time, I was like screaming. I was on the hill. Cornerback, draft a cornerback. I was like, oh my God, when are they going to get And they just never would invest. I remember sitting here saying, oh, Rashard Robinson is going to be a dog because they actually, he showed a little potential. And that was the guy I was excited to see. And he was terrible. Rashard Robinson was terrible. but that was it because they didn't invest. And when they finally did get some guys, you're like, okay, this might be the guy. And he was terrible. So the 49ers, over the last couple of years, I feel like they have done a better job of addressing the secondary. But now they're not addressing the O-line as much. They're okay with Colton McKivitz being their starter. Niner fans aren't, because we saw the results in the Super Bowl. We want them to put a bigger emphasis on that. But I feel like they'll eventually shift and put an emphasis on it, and then they're going to lack on another position. So it's tough. You can't always balance. It's a balance, and you
it's
can't
a shell
always,
game. Yeah,
you can't address everything.
No, you can't. No doubt about it. And Darwin's Raven, his name is Levi. He had a good point. He said that the Rams also got that really good kicker out of Stanford. I think they got him late too in the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah, they did good. The Fiske guy from Florida State, like they had a heck of a draft, man. And I can see why Colin Cowherd and a lot of people are probably going to pick. When people are making their predictions, I know a lot of people are going to pick the Rams. I'm sure they are. It's probably going to be a very trending pick because that's the team that's going to come out for the Niners and gun for them. And they had a good offseason, and now they're hungry, chips on their shoulders. Stafford was hurt last year. I get it. But the 49ers are still the 49ers. And until they get beat and until someone can prove that they're better than them right now, they're still, to me, the top dog. You have to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, and that's why I said my usual. This will be fun to come back to because I think it will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun times. I'm excited. Speaking of exciting and speaking of the new season and everything like that, the schedule drop is coming out this month. The rumor is this week on Thursday, maybe next week. I don't know if it's coming out this week or next week, but it's close. The NFL schedule is dropping soon. I'm so excited for the schedule. I cannot wait for the schedule to drop. My prediction is we're going to have 5 primetime games. Do you have any big predictions on the schedule drop coming up?
No, but I mean, I think that's pretty much a lock that, we have one of the biggest fan bases. We've been one of the best teams over the last few years. I think 5 wouldn't surprise me at all.
That'd be crazy.
4 would surprise me more, I would say.
4 or 5. Yeah, I can see it. I'm going to make this prediction. Opening weekend, 49ers Lions, Monday Night Football. That's my prediction to open the season.
Ooh, that would be huge.
Very nice, huh?
I feel like they're going to stick it later in the season, though, because it may come down to these. Those are my 2 best teams in the NFC, maybe us and Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't trust anybody else. Maybe the Eagles. I don't know. But I think it's the Lions and the Packers.
Absolutely. Lions are really good. Good draft. They get a good young team. Some good veterans. It's a good team. Dan Campbell, heck of a coach. Green Bay. I love what coming off a really good season. So I definitely think those 2 teams are going to be teams to really worry about. I think yes, Niners, Green Bay, Detroit. Out of that, I guess you can see. And then, well, here we go. We got lost for a second, but we're back. I think after Philly, maybe Dallas.
Yeah, or the Rams. Yeah.
Oh.
Or did you say the Rams before Philly? I can't. You were chopping up on me there, so I missed.
Yeah, I think both of us died off there, but yeah. So I still think Green Bay and Detroit right after the 49ers. Maybe the Philly, like you said, yeah. The Rams definitely are going to be a tougher team this year than they may have.
I think Cowboys are 5th or 6th now.
Yeah, their big offseason signing was bringing back Ezekiel Elliott
and stealing Kendricks from us.
Oh man!
And it came out. It came out this week. In the last couple of days that he just did. He wants a bigger role. He wants to be a middle linebacker. Fred is the middle linebacker. And he would definitely be the 3rd best linebacker on our team after Fred and Dre.
Yeah. So
I get that. That actually makes sense to me. And, and also Zimmer. Zimmer's there from Minnesota, went to the Cowboys. So same defensive coordinator, philosophy, scheme. All those things make sense to me. So I'm still pissed at him, but, I can't wait till we play him and show him what's what, at Levi's.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, those 3 reasons do make sense.
No, it makes sense. And I think that was what the intel was when, it all happened. That was just crazy times. He signed with the Niners, changed his mind. But, yeah, he has familiarity in their system. And then, yeah, he's going to a team that's going to utilize him more. You don't want to be playing third fiddle if you're on the Niners, you're not getting a starting role if you're a linebacker. You got Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Unless one of those two guys get hurt, you're third string. You're third linebacker. You're nothing. So
and I would even add, I think Kendricks is better, but there's a chance Devondre Campbell even beats Kendricks out here. There's a chance.
You never know. You never know. I don't. At the end of the day, like I get it, but I'm still salty. It kind of was like it made us look silly that day. But hey, you know what? When the Niners and Cowboys play, I hope George Kittle dog walks that man. That's what I can't wait. I hope it's mic'd up George Kittle against the Cowboys, and I hope George Kittle drags this man's carcass around the field, and I hope he gets a lot of quotes on him, and he probably says something like, "Oh, you left us for that team? For that team?" And he puts a tutty on his head. That's what I want.
I like it. You heard it here first.
I'm excited. There's nothing much else going on. Brandon Aiyuk, he's training. That man's in the lab, baby. Brandon Aiyuk, lab work is getting down. I think when it's all said and done, the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk are going to meet, and they're going to have a very handsome contract. And I think it's going to get done before training camp. Now, what'll be interesting is in 2 weeks they have OTAs. Will Brandon Aiyuk be there? That's going to be the first big sign of the whole, Brandon Aiyuk contract. Will he be at OTAs or not? I don't know. But he's been training a lot. And that's something that's different than some of these other players before, they get their contract. Brandon Aiyuk's fucking he's not letting any of this distract him. He's going to be working on himself and making sure he's ready. I like that for BA because, again, a couple years before Deebo, he kind of limited his training. He wasn't sure because he wanted to not hurt himself. I know Nick Bosa was staying in shape, but we don't know what he was really doing in terms of training and stuff. But Brandon Aiyuk showing the world, I'm ready. I'm training. I'm still hitting this offseason as hard as I usually do. I just want my money. So I love it.
Pay the man.
He's the man. How much is he getting paid?
Well, I would said 24 to 26 initially. But, Devonta Smith got 25. AJ Brown got 30?
Yeah.
He's not AJ Brown. I'm going to stay the north end of my range. I'm going to go with 26 still.
I think because Amon-Ra got paid, AJ Brown got paid, Devonta, all these numbers.
That's right. I forgot Amon-Ra, yeah.
I think Brandon Aiyuk's going to be somewhere I think at this point it's going to be 28 mil a year. I feel like I think that's going to be the number.
Too
because
much.
26 I thought was going to be the number, but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like Brandon Aiyuk's more than 26, but I don't know if you want to pay him 30. I think it's going to be 28 a year. That's it.
All right, I'll meet you in the middle and say 27, but I'm not going 28, Raj. No,
we're going to find out soon.
I think Parag is going to set a line in the sand.
He might. Parag likes to, keep it a certain way, but I think it's going to be 28 mil a year. To me, I feel like that the yearly money doesn't really matter as much as the guaranteed.
Guaranteed, yeah,
it's the guaranteed. Maybe 55 mil guaranteed. I think that'd be the magic number, but it's gonna be interesting. I think Deebo and Brandon Aiyuk definitely gonna be sticking around at least this year together, and I definitely think Brandon Ayuk's gonna get his money, and I really think it's gonna be before training camp. But again, the big ticket to take a look at is will he be around during OTAs starting in 2 weeks? So we'll see.
Hope so.
I hope so too. Let me take a look, see if there's been any news since we talked last week. Because again, it's kind of a slow time. I think the big news.
I saw PFN had us as the number 1 ranked offense for 2024.
I like that.
They had the Lions 2, Rams 3. They had the Chiefs all the way down at number 4. Bengals 5, Eagles 6, Ravens 7. Bills 8. I don't know how the Bills are at 8 with losing Diggs and Gabe Davis, but whatever. And then Dolphins way down at 9 and Packers way down at 10. I'd put those two a little bit higher on that list, I'd say.
I think I'd put them up. I'd put them up a little bit more, yeah.
I'm not a huge believer in the Chiefs' speedy wide receiver out of Texas, just because he's kind of small. I don't know how to hold up the NFL at 160, $165. Everybody's like, oh, he'll put weight on. I'm like, well, then will he be 4.21? He won't.
If you put on too much weight on the guy, he may not be as fast as you would. So, and he's got to put on a little weight to take some hits in the league. So I don't know. Maybe he just needs to consult with Tyreek Hill and see what he does. But
Tyreek's a lot more of a fire plug, I would say.
Guy's a speedster.
Yeah, he's a little shorter, and maybe not shorter, but stouter for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So there were a couple stories we didn't touch upon. We'll go rapid fire through these real quick. So last week on the Pat McAfee show, John Lynch was on the show, and he said a lot of stuff. He actually reiterated that he's doing everything he could in his power to keep the current roster intact, in regards to keeping Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel. He said, all that trade talk is over. We're down to business at this point. We're doing whatever we got to do to keep this guy, the squad intact. He goes, we love the new additions. We definitely, explored all that stuff. He kind of doubled down on what he said, after the draft. He basically said, hey, look, whatever happened. It is what it is. We are down to making sure we have all these guys plus, Jennings and Pearsall. He says, I love our roster. I love the way it's compromised. I'm doing everything in my power to keep our roster together. That's the goal. And he goes, Deebo and Aiyuk are guys that we drafted, and we couldn't be more proud of these guys. So I think John Lynch is telling us, hey, look, whatever happened. That's business. But we're on to the season. Deebo, Brandon Aiyuk, they're Niners. So I think that was pretty cool. So I think he basically is telling us, hey, look, we got these guys. And I know you said maybe post-June they'll trade Deebo. I think at this point they're rolling with them.
Good. Well, that's great. And then we've got the best group of weapons in the NFL yet again.
Yeah, that's good. And then, he praised Brock Purdy, and he basically said, he's our guy. He's our franchise guy, and this, that, the other. He's been awesome. We're thrilled to have him part of this organization. Obviously, we know all this stuff. We know he's their guy. But, he went into detail about how Brian Greasy and Bobby Slowick were instrumental in helping draft and recruit him to the Niners. So that was interesting to hear. But a lot of people have been, trying to dissect what Purdy's going to make next year. And there's been a lot of rumors. But to me, it really depends on how good he plays this year. But I really feel Brock Purdy is going to have this, just fantastic season. Because, again, he's not having to worry about rehab. He's not worrying to have to prove himself to make the roster. This is his first full offseason where he's just getting better. I'm excited to see what he can do.
As a starter, as a starting franchise QB. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason why I don't mind the slow news. There's no QB controversy. There's no surgery updates, rehab updates. It makes for better streaming, but as a fan, it's a lot nicer. I get a lot better sleep at night knowing that Purdy is probably going to improve a little bit more, at least for this season.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a good offseason because there's no drama. Every year we're sitting here fighting, crying, screaming, quarterback drama, quarterback news, quarterback frenzy. It's been nice without drama. I go to bed every night and I know our quarterback's Brock Purdy, and I know this team's going to be in good hands. And, the only thing we got to worry about next year about quarterback is how much are we going to pay the man? He deserves his money. So it's been a little different. It's kind of weird not having to worry about, who the heck's going to be our starting quarterback. It's a little different, but I like it.
First time since, Kyle's been here. First offseason. Yeah.
I know. It's weird. It's weird. So I love it, though. Anything else? Anything else you got cooking? Anything else you want to go over?
As far as upcoming stuff, I've got No BS Ted with Ryan every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. And I think McNiner and David McNew, are going to be doing something on Wednesdays. I think he said 3:20, not 3:30. So 3:20 Pacific, 6:20 Eastern on Wednesdays. So I'll have regular Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows. So
nice. Very good. Good stuff. I'll be live again probably tomorrow evening with Larry Kruger, as we usually are on Tuesdays. But yeah, business as usual. Mondays, me and your boy Ted live with you. We're a little later today. I had some things to take care of. But hey, at the end of the day, Mondays with your boy Ted. Hopefully there's a schedule drop, because if there is a schedule drop this week, I'll be live after the schedule gets dropped, and we'll talk all about it. I'm excited. Again, the rumor is Thursday. I hope the rumors are true. But yeah, I'm just excited for the season around the corner. It's always good to have you on the show, my man. And with that being said, thank you to everybody that hopped on today. Make sure you like the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell button, all that stuff, what all the other YouTubers say. Make sure you're subscribed to my boy Ted Talks Ball. If you aren't, do it now. You guys have a good rest of your day. Go Niners. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Go Niners.
Peace.